Welcome to Vision Plus and welcome to Senior for Mathematics on complex numbers. We are looking at conjugate of a complex number and we are now in example 2. Example 2 says find the complex conjugate of the following complex numbers. Part A, z equals to 6 minus 8i. So the solution is the part A, that is z equal to 6 minus 8i. We have said that for you to get a complex conjugate of a complex number, you only need to change the sign on the imaginary part. So what do we do here? We shall say z conjugate, which is z bar, equals to, this is the imaginary part and the sign is negative. So to get the conjugate, we'll change it to positive. So here we shall have 6 plus 8i. And that is the answer for part A. Going to part B, which is given by z equals to negative 3i plus 1. For us to get the conjugate of the second part, part B, we simply need to change the sign of the imaginary part. And this is the imaginary part where there is I. That is the imaginary part. So we shall say z bar or z conjugate gives us, it is negative here. So we shall turn it to be positive, which is the same as 3i and then plus 1. Do not change the sign of the real part. If it is positive, keep it positive, as well as it was positive here and we kept it positive. That is the solution to part B. Part C will be in the same manner. We have W as negative 5 minus 5i. So the complex conjugate of W becomes, this is the imaginary part. It is carrying a negative sign. So we need to change the sign simply to positive. This gives us a negative 5 plus 5i. And this is the complex conjugate of W. Welcome to Vision Plus and welcome to the Senior for Mathematics on complex numbers. We are looking at conjugate of a complex number and we are now in example 3 that says find the complex conjugate of the following. Part A says that z equals to negative 9 minus 9i. And we have said that to get the conjugate of a complex number, we simply change the sign on the imaginary part. So this is the imaginary part or the imaginary term. So z conjugate becomes negative 9. This sign is a minus. So for the conjugate, it becomes plus 9i. Then for part B, which is z equals to 4 plus I. Still we are going to focus on the imaginary part only. And we shall change the sign before it. So z bar becomes 4 minus, simply here it is plus, we change the minus I. And this is the answer for part B. The same applies to part C, that is z equals to 5 plus 2i. Z conjugate becomes 5, it is minus in this case. Place the question mark minus, this is the question. So the answer would be, we need to change this sign, only the sign before the imaginary part. This one here would give us plus 2i. Everything remains